They say temptation doesn't come with warning signs. No blinking lights. No sirens. Just a flicker of something, a look, a smile that turns into a fire before you know you're burning. That's what happened to Emily and Jake Thompson. And if someone had told them that one moment could unravel 20 years of marriage, they would have laughed. But sometimes, life doesn't fall apart all at once. Sometimes, it slips. Emily and Jake were the kind of couple you rooted for. High school sweethearts who rushed into marriage at 17 because of 2 pink lines on a test. They stood in a courthouse, trembling, whispering "I do" as their future unfolded faster than either of them could plan. 6 months later, baby Haley was born, and the whirlwind never slowed. But somehow, they made it. Raised a bright daughter who now lived 2 states away, thriving on her own. And through it all, Jake never stopped looking at Emily like she was the most beautiful woman in any room. Emily, now 37, still turned heads. Tall, graceful, and with a golden smile that made strangers compliment her just to hear her laugh. Jake always said she looked 10 years younger than she was. This year, on their 20th anniversary, he planned something special: reservations at a cozy downtown bistro where the jazz was soft, the wine was dry, and the memories came easy. When Emily stepped out of the rideshare that night in a red dress that hugged every line of her body, Jake forgot how to breathe. "You look incredible," he murmured, holding out a bouquet of peach-colored roses. "Glad your taste still matches mine," she teased, leaning in for a kiss. They reminisced over dinner, tales of diaper disasters, long drives in a beat-up Honda, and one unforgettable night slow dancing under a neon gas station sign. Haley joined via FaceTime, waving and holding up the cat like a mascot for love that had survived so much. Over dessert, Emily pushed her plate away and said, "I've got news." Jake blinked. "Good or bad?" "Corporate's launching a new division. They offered me the director seat." "That's amazing," Jake said, genuinely shocked. "Why you?" "They want someone who can lead, build a team from scratch. I guess I'm their girl." He beamed, raised his glass. "To my superstar wife." That night, walking hand in hand beneath street lamps, he remembered being 17 and sneaking out to meet her. The way she smelled of jasmine, the way her laughter echoed like a melody. It felt like a loop, a return to magic. But sometimes, magic comes with shadows. Emily threw herself into the new role with a passion she hadn't felt in years. She didn't need the money, Jake's construction business was solid, but she craved the pace, the challenge. And then, on her first morning as director, everything changed. He was already waiting in the hallway, tall, lean, confidently slouched against the glass wall. "Good morning. I'm Emily," she said, extending a hand. "David," he said with a smirk. "Pleasure." That smirk should have been a warning. So should the way her skin tingled when their fingers touched. She shook it off. She was married. She loved Jake. But David's eyes never strayed. He listened like she was the only person on earth. By the end of the interview, she knew he'd get the job. She also knew she was in trouble. It started small. Coffee drop-offs. Harmless jokes. Long strategy sessions that bled into midnight. The office emptied, but they stayed typing, planning, talking too close. One night, he slipped into her office carrying 2 mugs. "Figured you could use one," he said. She jumped. Her mind had just been imagining him. Exactly there. He grinned. "Didn't mean to scare you. You watching me type is distracting," she said. "Figured you liked my eyes on you," he replied, voice low. She tried to laugh it off. Tried to focus. But he leaned in, breath warm on her cheek. "You really think I can't feel you watching me?" he whispered. "Don't be shy." She froze. "I'm married," she said, voice thin. "Husbands aren't brick walls. They slide," he murmured. Then he kissed her. It didn't last long, maybe 5 minutes of blurred lines, of heat and confusion. But when she straightened her blouse and wiped her lips, guilt slammed into her like a freight train. And yet, her heart thumped like it hadn't in years. She told herself it was a one-time mistake. But David wasn't done. He lingered near her desk. Dropped compliments. Flirted in meetings. And she didn't stop him. Weeks passed. Her marriage grew distant. Jake still kissed her goodnight, but he sensed something. One Sunday morning, Emily woke early. Her chest hurt, not from guilt, but from the truth it carried. Jake deserved better. She made coffee, hands trembling. When Jake walked in, groggy, he noticed. "You okay?" "No. I need to talk," she said. She told him everything, David, the nights, the shame. She wept as she spoke, like she could cry the truth away. Jake just sat there, eyes dark. "I suspected," he said quietly. "You've been glowing like a teenager again. I just hoped I was still the reason." "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because I wasn't sure. And once I knew, I had to choose, run or burn. I'll quit. Do therapy. Fix this." Jake stood. "I love you, Em. But I can't unsee what you've told me. I can't live with that movie in my head." That night, he packed a small bag. Moved in with his brother. The divorce came fast, clean, efficient. They didn't scream. They just ended. Emily tried turning David into something real. Told him she was free now. That they could be together. He laughed. Not cruel, but awkward. "Emily, the secret was the thrill. I'm not built for steady." She stared. "So that's it. I never wanted more." Something shattered inside her. She emailed her resignation the same night. Tried rebuilding somewhere new. But the ache wouldn't leave. Haley called. "Dad told me everything. I love you, Mom. But why? Why throw it all away?" Emily had no answer. She stopped going out. Started drinking wine for dinner. Stared at her reflection, bloated and unfamiliar. Compliments faded. So did her confidence. Meanwhile, Jake built a cabin. Woke each morning to birds and dew. He missed her laugh. But he breathed easier. Some nights, Emily scrolled through old photos, her in that red dress, Jake looking at her like she held the sun. She'd whisper "I'm sorry" to the screen and then turn it face down. Because the weight of what she'd lost was heavier than guilt. He was gone. The man who loved her at 17. The man who still would have chosen her at 50. And that's the tale, friends. A story of love cracked by one decision. One flirtation that slid too far. Two people who once built everything, now walking separate roads. One lighter. One lost. Was Jake right to leave?